last closing lecture of the series on Ukrainian history at our Institute for East European History at this university. We'll talk about Ukraine today, its challenges, its prospects, its myths, and its realities. Our distinguished guest is Jaroslaw Grycak, who I don't think needs an introduction in this room, because I think he's become an institution himself. I have to say, the English language Wikipedia page of Professor Hrytsak is a little outdated. It still mentions him, for example, as a guest professor at Central European University, which I find nice because that's where he actually officially met. But even that outdated webpage classifies him as a famous Ukrainian historian. So I will just assure you that since in the last couple of years, Professor Hrytsak's fame has only spread, not least because he's not only a historian, but actually a public figure, an intellectual, somebody who's very present in the media, discussing both Ukrainian history and the problems that Ukraine has today. He's basically involved in a lot of initiatives, many institutions that have emerged, what should one say, on the ruins of Ukraine's recent evolution. Jaroslaw Grycak is professor of history at Ukrainian Catholic University, as well as the director of the Institute for Historical Research at Ivan Franko National University, both of them in Lviv. He's actually a graduate of this university, but has really been everywhere, held guest professorships in places like Columbia, Harvard, but also actually here in Vienna as well. He was a Fulbright Fellow, Lisa Meitner Fellow, as well as a Fellow of the Institute Human Sciences, Institute für die Wissenschaften und Menschen, IWM, both of them here in Vienna. So he's definitely not new to Vienna. We know him. We're very glad that he was able to come today. Really has many, many other functions. I will just mention one or two that I think are most important. He's the editor, for example, of arguably the best academic journal in Ukraine, Ukraina Moderna, in the editorial boards of a number of other journals, such as Ab Imperio Critica, as well as the Journal of Harvard Institute for Ukrainian Studies, in other words, and many, many, really many other functions. He's been also honored and decorated, both in Ukraine and abroad, particularly in Poland and in Austria as well. And well, among the long list of his publications, I probably should just mention two books. One for which, for example, he was awarded the best book in Ukraine by title by the leading Ukrainian magazine Correspondent. That was for his book on Ivan Franko, recent, very interesting, thick study, as well as the author, he is also the author of essays in Ukrainian history, The Formation of Ukrainian Nation, which has recently been translated into Polish as well. After all this, I think, all this said, I think it shouldn't be a surprise that Professor Hrytsak talks to us today about Ukraine as we have it at the very moment. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Martian. I was afraid Martian will never finish.
I plan to talk longer.
No, it was kind of very hard to an official, well, so the procedure has been taken. Thank you so much, Martian, for your kind words.